So everybody wants to know the exact timeline on how to go from 0 to 10K per month online. And so I wanted to create a video about it. I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I went from 0 to 10K per month online in approximately 150 days. I'm going to break down each step of the process, the exact timeline that it took for me, and actually what I was doing in each phase of this process so that you can have a picture perfect understanding of it. And if you're tired of videos on the internet that are just like fluff, but don't actually give you value or advice, then this video is going to be perfect for you because we're just going to get straight into the point here. So this is the 150-day roadmap to 10K per month. And if you don't know already, I found my success in high ticket sales. I tried a bunch of different business models prior, and then I ended up starting as an appointment setter. Did that for a couple months, transitioned into doing closing, hybrid closing, and appointment setting. And I'll explain how all of that works in a second here. But basically, phase one here is the foundation, and this is days 1 to 14. And the goal here is to just learn a basic fundamental skill of how to do appointment setting. That's literally the only goal here. So days 1 through 3 are all about just researching the high ticket sales industry. So researching different influencers out there. What type of products do they sell? What type of funnels do they run? You should look into fitness offers. You should look into make money online offers. You should look into business coaching offers. You should look into relationship offers. Those are the 4 core niches in the space of high ticket offers. So you should do deep analysis on these, literally just like go through people's funnels and pretend like you were going to buy something and just understand their offer, what it actually looks like, what types of people that they sell to, what types of sub niches do they work with? Do they work with men? Do they work with women? Do they work with certain types of people, et cetera, et cetera. Then when you do this for the first 3 days, then you're going to want to do days 4 through 7. You're going to want to learn the appointment setting fundamentals. Now, I have videos on my channel that talk about appointment setting scripts. There are also other videos on YouTube that you could probably check out. Basically, you're going to want to get just a basic understanding of how to actually do appointment setting, how to actually do the job. And so do that for a couple days. Now, this is your first week. Then your second week is all about practicing that script and putting it into play and putting it into practice. And so the best thing that you can do, at least in my opinion, is utilize AI for this. So all you have to do is go to ChatGPT and you can say, I'm an up and coming appointment setter for a high ticket coaching business and I want to refine and practice my skill. Please act like you are a prospect who is interested in working with the offer that I'm an appointment setter for. And then you can lay out an offer here. So for this example, I did a $3,000 fitness coaching program. It's a one-on-one coaching program for 6 months. They build out nutrition plans and workout plans, and they work with moms who are postpartum. So these moms have kids, then they have a little bit of extra belly fat, then they want to pay for a coach so that they can burn this and so that they can get back into great shape for themselves. I will start the role play off by saying, hey, Julie, thanks for the follow. Cool if I ask you some quick questions to see if I can potentially help you out. I want you to respond like you are a prospect of this offer. At the end of the conversation, after I book you, please give me some analysis on what could be done potentially better. So you're going to want to do something like this, and then you're going to want to role play back and forth with the AI using the appointment setting script that you would have gotten earlier in days 4 to 7. And you're going to want to put this into practice for about 7 days. And you can do a ton of practice with this. And you can also re-prompt this with different offers. So you can do a make money online offer. You can do a business coaching offer. You can do a relationship coaching offer. Whatever offers, just test a bunch of different stuff and start to get yourself well versed in the space. And use the feedback that the AI gives you about what you could do potentially better. And so your only goal in the first 14 days is to just understand the business model and get a really good understanding of how you can be an appointment setter. Then we get into phase 2 here, which is all about having your first breakthrough. And this is days 14 to 60. So your only goal with phase 2 and having your first breakthrough is landing your first client. Landing your first offer that you're going to start being an appointment setter for, where at the bare minimum, you're making 2K per month. On the high end, you're making 7K per month. So essentially, your goal with that is to just land your first client. And so the first 14 to 30 days is all about just like landing this first role. Now, I have videos on my channel that talk about how you can do outreach on Instagram to land your first role. So definitely check those out if you haven't already. Or you can also partner with somebody like myself or even just other people out there where you can get access to people's networks where you can apply to positions and job opportunities. So for example, inside of my Discord community, we post anywhere from 20 to 40 job opportunities on a daily basis where people are actively hiring appointment setters. And so as a byproduct, in days 14 to days 30, now you can go in and start applying to these businesses. Or if you're not able to pay for anything and you have no money saved up at this point, then you can go down the free IG outreach method, which I have videos on this channel. And so your only goal days 14 to 30 is to just land your first appointment setting position. Even if it's not the best one in the world, even if you're not going to start making a ton of money online, it'll get you actually getting some good practical experience in, which will help you very well into the future. Then if you're on a good offer, which is the goal, days 30 through 45 are all about just like learning that client's systems and processes, getting really, really versed and in depth with their offer and just having a really solid understanding of that. And then basically days 46 to 55 are all about just optimizing your performance and booking more calls and getting better yourself, practicing with AI, practicing in real world conversations and potentially even screenshotting these conversations and asking AI what it thinks, or working with a coach to help you build up the skill. That's what I did, and it helped me out a ton. All of that fun stuff. And so your goal by day 56 to day 60 is to be in a business where you're at least making 3K per month, or you're very close to doing it. Maybe you didn't hit 3K your first month, but maybe you're in a business where you hit 1.5K, but you were just being an idiot for the first 2 weeks and now you locked in. And so you're going to do it next month. This is the goal. This is the position that you want to be in. And this is really just like your first little hit of proof that this stuff can actually work. And this is why high ticket sales and appointment setting is so powerful, because there's no other business model on the planet where you can learn a skill like this and in 14 days go into a business and start making decent money. Even if it's not, 10K per month, 15K per month, where you're balling, you can buy cars, you can buy watches, all that stuff. Like, don't even worry about that yet, because you're building foundations that will help you do that in the future. And that's exactly what we're talking about heading into some of the later phases. Phase 3 is all about scaling up. So once you're in this business and you're making like okay money to start, then what you're going to want to do, days 61 to 70, is all about just improving your skills even more, increasing your booking rates, improving your skills. And your goal as a byproduct of doing this is to get to the point where you're making, or you're on track to be making, about 4 to 5K per month online. And this is exactly what I did. I did this while I was in college. I also hit 3K in my first month, and I literally followed this exact same process. Your goal is to be on track to be making 5K per month. And then once you're doing that, and once you start getting to the point where you're making 5K per month, then you can ultimately make a big decision for yourself. And this is what I did personally. So I was in college while doing appointment setting. I was majoring as a mechanical engineer. I was also working part-time as a lifeguard, and I had a decision to make because I was doing all three of these things. It's like so mentally draining and so much work. And I ultimately decided that I saw so much of a path ahead in regards to doing high ticket sales. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job as a lifeguard and I'm going to take a gap year for college. And that's exactly what I did. It's a gap year because I had to tell my parents it was a gap year, but ultimately it was me deciding and drawing the line in the sand that I was going to drop out of college. And so I started making 5K per month, and then I committed to going all in. And so there will eventually be a point in your journey, whether it's 2K per month, whether it's 8K per month, whether it's 5K per month, whether it's whatever, where you are going to have to go all in. Because if you're going to try to balance this while working a job or going to college or something like that, it is going to be damn near impossible. You have to eventually get to a point where you're just going to go all in, or you're just going to stay at that level for the rest of your life, which is going to be very tricky for you. Now, once you decide to make the commitment to go all in, congratulations. Now you are really going to start making serious money, because now you have the full day to actually focus on doing something like this. And so then we go into phase 4 here, which is leveling up. And this is days 91 to 120 for me, which is all about transitioning into the skill of closing. So first skill was being an appointment setter, where you're just sending messages on behalf of business owners. Now you're the guy that actually has to get on Zoom calls and phone calls and actually have to speak well and actually have to know your shit and be on top of your shit and really dial in. And so phase 4, transitioning into closing, this is a really good opportunity to invest with a mentor. I would recommend doing it earlier too. This is really where I started investing into a mentor, but I would recommend, even if you're somebody that just has a little bit of money saved up, you should be willing to risk that, because it's a commitment and a sign to yourself that you're actually going to take it serious and go all in. But essentially, days 91 to 100, I was investing in a mentor, and I was really focusing on building the initial skill of sales. So days 101 to 110, I started learning the basic skill of closing. So there's YouTube videos on this. There's AI can also help you build a sales script and all that stuff out. But essentially, you want to start to build a basic understanding of how to become a closer for businesses. And so you're going to have to do this. Then days 111 to 120, this is where I became a hybrid. So I was already working as an appointment setter. I tacked on the skill of closing, and I started doing both of them at the same time after I decided to go all in. So after I decided to go all in, I had way more time because I didn't have college and I didn't have the lifeguarding job, and I had the full day now. And so I started dedicating every single day, every single waking hour essentially to doing sales. I was doing half of my day closing, getting on Zoom meetings with people, half of the day being an appointment setter. I was doing both at the same time. And I would recommend this for a lot of people because this gives you really good opportunities to build skills really, really fast because you're just doing so many inputs. It's like if you do something so many times, you get feedback really, really quick and you just get better really quick. You get better faster than everyone else. And so this is all just like focused on building your skills and getting a skill upgrade, and potentially it's a really good idea to invest in a mentor if you haven't already. Now that you have money coming in, it's like, why wouldn't you? Because the mentor is going to teach you stuff that you would learn eventually by yourself trying to figure it out on your own, but he can help you learn that a lot quicker than you having to face it in the real world. Then we get to phase 5, and this is where it gets fun. This is the ultimate breakthrough. And this for me was days 120 to 150. So the goal here is to start getting to the point where you're making 10K per month or more consistently, or maybe you're not quite there yet, but you know you can do it very, very soon. And I don't really believe in putting exact timelines on it. So maybe instead of 150 days, this takes you 180 or 240 days. But ultimately, you're getting closer and closer to being able to do that for yourself. And so days 121 to 135, and this is what I did a ton. I worked a lot with my mentor to really focus on building the skill of sales. His name was Brad. Shout out to you. And then it's basically just like performing inside of the role and getting better. It's like actually learning new skills, applying those skills into businesses, all that stuff. And then hitting 10K per month consistently. And if you're not, figure out what's stopping you and solve it and get better. It's like you're an athlete, you're building your skills. It's like, what do athletes do? They show up to practice, they hit the gym, they review their tape. You do the exact same thing as a sales rep. You practice, you actually do the work of you being a sales rep, you watch your calls back and you look for things that you could have said or done better. And you dedicate a lot of your time every single day to getting as good as possible. And this is what you need to do. And this is the point where I hit 10K per month. So happy days, all that fun stuff. So what actually made the difference for me? Well, the mentor investment was huge for me. Going all in was super important for me, obviously, because if you're working a full-time job or you're in college, you can definitely start getting to the point where you're making 5K or more online, but it's going to be really, really hard to get to 10K per month. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be damn near impossible. You're going to have to eventually get to the point where you just draw the line in the sand and just commit to yourself to going all in on this. The next thing was focusing on one business model instead of trying all these different ones and jumping from business model to business model. So it took me 14 days to actually get into a position where I was making money. And even here, I wasn't really making money yet because you get paid bi-weekly. And so it was like usually like a month or maybe a month and a couple days until I was actually getting paid. And a lot of people, when they do that, they've put in work for a month and they're just like, I need to get paid, because you're in this like broke wage job mindset where you need to get paid for every hour that you work. This isn't the case with online business. You get paid based on what you actually do, what you perform in. And so in the beginning, you have to understand that you're going to put in a little bit of work building skills and practicing, and you're not going to get directly paid for that. And you have to understand that before you get started. And then working with established businesses instead of starting your own is obviously the foundational reason why we do high ticket sales in the first place. And the reality check is that this wasn't 150 days of easy work. This was really tricky, especially when I was balancing college and working as a lifeguard and doing appointment setting. But anything great that you want in life isn't going to be easy. So just understand that. So a lot of 12-hour days, a lot of uncomfortable conversations with my parents because they were asking me all the time, what was I doing? Why was I spending so much time doing this? Blah, blah, blah. Why was I dropping out of college? Investing money that I didn't have, or I did have, but it's like, if you have 5K in your bank account and you spend 3K, it's obviously like a pretty uncomfortable decision. Putting your back against the wall. These are all things that are absolutely going to need to take place for you if you actually want to do something like this. And so your next steps, if you're watching this video right now and maybe you've tried a bunch of different business models, but now you're actually going to lock in on something like this. Pick appointment setting if you're a complete beginner. If you're somebody that's already done appointment setting before, maybe you can pick closing. Or if you have in-person in a 9-to-5 sales experience, whether it's like insurance, real estate, all these other fields, tech sales, then you can go straight into closing. And then what you need to do is you need to commit at least 6 months to focus work. You're literally write a promise to yourself that you're going to go 6 months of doing this business model, whether appointment setting or closing, and say, I don't care what type of results I get. I don't care if I get rich or if I actually stay at zero. Understand that that could be a capability, and understand that no matter what happens, you're going to do it for 6 months. And you have to be willing to commit yourself to this. Get help from somebody who's done it. This is key. If you want help from me, I have a one-on-one mentorship that you can book a call using the link in the description if you want more information about that. If you don't, That's no worries at all. You can find somebody else. Eventually, you're going to want a mentor because it speeds up the process. So, what I did in 5 months might have taken me 5 years if I just kept trying it on my own and kept trying to figure it out on my own. And don't quit when it gets hard. So that's the video. This is how I hit 10K per month in exactly 150 days. And this is what you should be doing if you're a complete beginner. I can't promise you it's going to take exactly 150 days because nothing in life is guaranteed. But I promise you, if you follow this general framework, you should be able to change your life with it. And text me on Instagram when you do. Goodbye.